Question number 8, Jacinda Ardern.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question to the Minister for Canterbury Earthquake Recovery: does he stand by the Prime Minister's statement in relation to Christchurch?
Order. Forgive me for interrupting the honourable member, but when members interject, it's surprisingly how difficult it is to hear sometimes with sound echoing around the chamber. And once a question's dealt with, there's no need for ongoing interjection. Jacinda Ardern, I do apologise. Question number 8.
To the Minister for Canterbury Earthquake Recovery: does he stand by the Prime Minister's statement in relation to Christchurch that, quote, "It looks like the residential rebuild alone will require up to 12,500 full-time workers. If not, how many full-time workers does he believe will now be needed?"
The Honourable Maurice Williamson.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Minister for Canterbury Earthquake Recovery, yes.
Jacinda Ardern.
Believe his government's trades training package announced last week with new funding for 1,500 training places in Christchurch will be enough to meet reconstruction demand?
The Honourable Maurice Williamson.
Mr. Speaker, what I would say is it's too early in the cycle to know the numbers precisely. The 12,500 is the best estimate at this point, but I can tell you the Department of Building and Housing say they'll have a better idea of what the real number will be as EQC finishes the insurance assessments process. And secondly, the 12,500 required won't just come from new trainees. They will come from people who have been in the construction workforce, have exited, but will come back in. They will come from outside of the Canterbury region, and they may also come from an opening up of the immigration system to allow workers from elsewhere. Sir, no one knows what those numbers are, and until the process goes a little bit further down the stream, no one will know the exact requirement.
Jacinda Ardern.
Supplementary. Will the Minister guarantee that overseas labour will not be imported to fill any projected shortfall in workers for the Christchurch rebuild?
The Honourable Maurice Williamson.
Mr. Speaker, it would be foolish to make any guarantees about this. There is too many unknowns, too much of this is imprecise, and I say to the member it will probably be 2 to 4 years before the peak of the rebuilding is really occurring, and therefore, Mr. Speaker, it is impossible to know whether we will be able to fill that. But the package announced this week as part of the budget, the 42 million for trades training, the 3,000 more construction-related training places at Polytechnics in Canterbury, is a very good start to gear up for the process, and I can assure the member that the government will keep a watching brief, and as the demand grows, so will the supply of workers.
Jacinda Ardern.
Minister, has he seen TDC reports that show under his government the number of building and construction trainees has dropped by over 2,000, and as such, doesn't this package at best correct the shortfall that already existed before the earthquake?
The Honourable Maurice Williamson.
Mr. Speaker, I think a question like that would be way better put to the Minister for Tertiary Education, because I would be floundering if I tried to answer it.
Is it a point of order or supplementary question, Honourable Leanne Dalzell? Order. I want to hear Leanne Dalzell's question.
Will he ensure that all government-led Christchurch reconstruction contracts require contractors to take on local apprentices so that they can be fully trained in time to benefit from the expected peak in activity in 2 to 4 years' time?
The Honourable Maurice Williamson.
Mr. Speaker, I think that taking on local apprentices and doing the training would certainly be a key factor that would be taken into consideration as part of letting the contract. Yes, I do.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, in the 9 months since the 4th of September earthquake, how many new trainees or apprentices have been taken on specifically to meet the huge demand so far that will exist because of the need for reconstruction of 10,000 houses?
The Honourable Maurice Williamson.
Mr. Speaker, well, I give the same answer as before. I'm answering that on behalf of the Minister for Canterbury Earthquake Recovery. I'm actually the Minister of Building and Construction, and I think it's the Ministry of Tertiary Education that question should be put to.
Question number 9, the Honourable Tau Hanare. Order. That's sufficient. The Honourable Tau Hanare.